Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'm going to talk about the fear of abandonment in relationships, as well as how to fix it and what's the root cause of fear of abandonment. Fear of abandonment is this overwhelming worry that someone close to you will leave. It's sometimes called abandonment issues, and it is mostly caused by a past event where you were physically or emotionally abandoned by someone close to you. Abandonment issues may be experienced on the physical spectrum, where you keep thinking that someone you are close to will leave and probably never come back, or the emotional spectrum, where you think that someone close to you will abandon or neglect your emotional needs, leaving you feeling unloved, uncared for, disconnected, and feeling alone, even if they don't show signs of doing so. So someone might not be showing any interest of leaving you, but you just have this deep fear that they might leave you anytime. This fear can be so paralyzing that you may find it really hard to have healthy relationships in your adult life. And in fact, it's one of the reasons that may keep you stuck in a toxic relationship for far much longer. And most of us experience this extreme fear of abandonment throughout our lives, as we worry about being rejected by our peers, partners, workplaces, or even just entire social circles. This fear of abandonment will create like a deep feeling of insecurity if left unaddressed. Our childhood experiences are the greatest cause of our fear of abandonment in our adult life. Childhood experiences like abuse, neglect, or traumatic loss of a loved one lead to development of negative beliefs about oneself and others, which is the foundation of this kind of insecure attachment and fear of abandonment. And some of the beliefs can be something like believing that you are unlovable, believing that you are unworthy, believing that the people you care about will always leave you. And these feelings of abandonment can happen when like a caregiver doesn't provide their kids with reliable emotional support and warmth, which leaves them like feeling stressed, fearful, and low in self-esteem. Some of the childhood experiences that may lead to feelings of abandonment are things like you are unable to express yourself as a kid. There was too much pressure on you by your caregivers. There was like these high standards, or you were constantly ridiculed by everyone, or your caregivers kept enforcing their beliefs on you, and that's how you feel emotionally neglected. And other experiences in adulthood, like being in a toxic relationship, divorce, loss of a loved one, or being betrayed by someone close to us, may also reinforce these fears of abandonment. So these fears of abandonment can mostly happen in our childhood, but they can also be reinforced by some adulthood experiences. So, what are some of the abandonment issues in relationships? This fear of abandonment will always negatively affect the way we relate to ourselves and others in our adult lives. And some of the common warning signs of abandonment issues in relationships are things like, number one is hypervigilance in your relationship. This is where like you are constantly worried about your partner's behaviors, and you are constantly on the lookout if they are upset or happy, because you don't want to screw things up. Because if you feel that if I don't make my partner happy, they will leave me. So you'll be constantly on the lookout, asking them questions, how are you feeling every time. And you will find yourself like exaggerating any subtle or normal emotional reactions from your partner as an indicator that your partner is losing interest in you. Another sign of abandonment issues is you'll be obsessively overthinking and being overly suspicious. You have no clear evidence, but you feel that your partner is cheating on you. You may find yourself constantly tracking their every move, or even passing by their workplace repeatedly so as to confirm your suspicion. All your thoughts when they're not picking up your phone or messaging back, or when they are not with you are just generalized to them being with someone else. Like when your partner is not with you, you are just so sure that they are with someone else, and they may never come back. That's because you fear being abandoned so much. The third one is extreme clinginess. You want to be with them 24/7, and you cannot even give them any space. You feel so helpless when they are not with you, and you have this sense that if you let them go, they may never come back. This may also come out as being too possessive and wanting this constant reassurance from them. Clinginess can also manifest as constantly calling your partner throughout the day, stalking them on social media, calling their friends to check on them, and just wanting to go everywhere with them. With this clinginess, you even wish that it was just you and your partner in this universe, because you just fear losing them so much. So you just feel that the best thing to do is to cling onto them. The fourth one is extreme jealousy. Your fear of abandonment may manifest as this extreme feeling of jealousy when you see your partner spending time with other people. These people may be co-workers or even family, but you will feel that your position in that relationship is always under threat. You may even restrict your partner from talking to other people because you deeply feel insecure, and that they may leave you to that. They may leave you for that other person. You may even find yourself like keeping your friends away from your partner because you feel that your friends will steal them. The fifth one is easily emotionally attached. You will attach to someone so easily because you feel that there is no need of building a deeper connection with them, as they will eventually leave you. And what intensifies this feeling of quick attachment is that you feel that if you don't get attached to them, you will lose them and you will never find someone else. Number 6, you are overly sensitive to criticism and disagreements. You cannot stand being criticized even if it's constructive, and you feel rejected when someone challenges your opinion. When you're criticized, you feel that people don't love you, and you might even defend yourself in an unhealthy way. This sensitivity will make you shy away from voicing your opinion, and you may find yourself just agreeing for the sake of keeping your relationship because you feel that if you disagree with someone, they will abandon you. The last thing is fear of abandonment will keep you in a toxic relationship longer because you can't handle the feelings of being abandoned again. You will try to make it work even if your partner is no longer showing interest to making it work. You will compromise on your boundaries, rationalize the abuse because the pain of rejection is just so much for you to bear again. That's why someone will choose to stick to that relationship with a kind of ride or die attitude, and let the abusive partner do as they wish, no matter how abusive the relationship is, as long as they are not leaving them. So someone is choosing to stay in the relationship even if they are being abused, as long as the partner is not leaving them. This is why the discard is the most painful experience, because it triggers those emotions you experience when you are abandoned by your caregivers as a child or even in your adult life. So that's why you will keep staying in that relationship, because you feel it's much safer and less painful than the aspect of being abandoned. So how do you fix abandonment issues? To fix these issues, you have to develop more security and awareness deep within yourself. One thing about this fear of abandonment is that it always leads to development of unhealthy coping mechanisms in our present relationships. And what strengthens this fear of abandonment is that there is always that critical inner voice that always gives us bad advice on what we have to do. The inner voice will lie to you and say things like, they are probably with someone else, or the fact that they are late means that they are with that other co-worker, or they're gonna leave you just like everyone else. And one way to deal with this kind of inner voice is to just recognize that inner voice as just an exaggeration and focus on the actual facts. So instead of, before you jump into conclusions and act with your impulsive emotions, you just pause a bit and then see that inner voice as just an exaggeration, as just a product of your fear of abandonment, and then you will now act from there. It's more like you just observe that as an inner voice. You can also give yourself time before making these rash decisions or before taking action. Seeking help to resolve our past experiences is of course the best way to get to the root of the problem and process those negative emotions that prevents us from distinguishing and separating the fears resulting from past experiences and the fears resulting from present reality. It's more like healing is more like bringing the unconscious fears to light and seeing them as just a product of our past experiences, and seeing them as just something that doesn't have to have a grip on our present reality. And when we fail to address the core abandonment wounds, we'll have difficulty having healthy relationships in our lives, because that wounded inner child in our lives will be the one who will be running the show behind the scenes. And when we are no longer trapped by the past is when we can say no, we can acknowledge that we deserve a better life or we are worthy of love and embrace our wholeness. So it's always important to deal with the past. It really helps. That's it from me today, guys. Until next time, see ya.